Yes, hi everyone. I am Jatin Singla, your civil mentor in YourPedia. Friends, I welcome you all on the YourPedia platform. And friends, as you all know that in the Andhra Pradesh, so there is an upcoming exam for the Pollution Control Board, and around 15th of August they will come with the notifications for this exam date, right? So till then you have a sufficient time. So today is the 1st of April, and till this notifications that will come around 15th of August. So you have April, May, June, July, August, almost 5 months we have. And after the notification they will provide you sufficient time, approx 1.5 or 2 months, so that means you will have 7 months from now onwards. So friends, if you want to prepare, if you want to crack your Pollution Control Board exam in Andhra Pradesh, so you all know that YourPedia is the only dedicated platform which will launch the modules for the environmental domains. So we have already covered various state pollution control board domains, like you can say like Odisha Pollution Control Board, we have covered that. Rajasthan Pollution Control Board, we have covered that, as well as in the Punjab, or as well as in the Haryana, and also this UP Pollution Control Board. So we have covered all these domains, and also we run our modules for the CPCB also, Central Pollution Control Board, friends. So classes for this Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board classes has been started. So if you want to join us, if you want to connect with us, so you can directly contact in the institute, you can directly call, or there's a Google form in the description box. So please fill that. If you fill that, then directly you will add in our WhatsApp group. So our mentors will contact you, our team members will contact you, otherwise you directly contact with us. Okay friends, so if you want to prepare, if you want to crack, so you have a sufficient time, because Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board, if we look at the syllabus, so there is a vast syllabus, right? Around 10 to 12 topics you have, so you have to prepare in this given time. So you can easily prepare all these topics very easily, but main problem is this: if you are a working candidate, if you are doing job anywhere, so you don't have sufficient time. So in this time you have to prepare the content which is, well, you can say, which is you like this, you can say like you have to prepare only those content which is beneficial for your exam, which is valid, which is beneficial for your exam. So you don't have to prepare all the content. So that's why YourPedia module is a tailor-made module. We generally launch our tailor-made module. Tailor-made module, it basically means that on the basis of the requirement of the exams. So because we have a different state exams, and every states there is a different requirements, right? So on the basis of the requirement of the exams, so we start our modules, right? So if you want to prepare, you can contact us. Okay, so friends, in the today class I am going to teach you this biological quality parameter topic. That is very important topic, because many students confused in this topics, right? It's a simple topic, but there is a lot of terms which you have to study. So I am going to tell you all the terms related to this, all the tests related to this. I am going to cover this in the given time, whatever we have a time allotted. So I will try to cover all the topics, right? So biological quality parameter, if your comments, if you want all the topics, if you want remaining topics like physical quality parameters or chemical quality parameters, you can comment, right? And depending on the comments, so I can make another video on this physical and chemical quality parameter. Okay, so friends, I think a lot of discussion we have done. So now without wasting the time, now let's start this topics. Okay, so friends, first we have biological quality parameters of the water. First of all, we have to know a basic thing is that you have a water, you have an ample quantity of water, you have ample water, you have a sufficient quantity of water everywhere. Water is water everywhere, but you know that water is present everywhere, but is this water is drinkable? Is this water is potable? Is this water is safe for us? So there is a question arises. So yes, water is not safe for us because there are the many pollutants, there are the many contaminants are present in the water. So before consumption of any water, you have to check the quality of the water, and on the basis of the quality we are going to treat that water, and after the treatment we are going to supply that water. The water is being used in every sectors, in every industries, in every sectors. Mostly water being used in agriculture sectors, but everywhere we require fresh water. We require pollution free water. But you know that we have only very less amount of fresh water available if we compare all the water, right? Because around 98.5% water is saline water on our earth. Only 2.5% water we have, that you can say it's the fresh water. But in this 2.5%, mostly water is stored in the glaciers. So we have a very less amount of water in the liquid form. So this is basically related about your water resources. So, but this I'm going to tell here about the biological quality parameter. Because if we look, if we say that we have a water and we want to assess the quality of the water, so we have different parameters by the help of which we can assess the quality of water. Like we have physical quality parameter, chemical quality parameter, biological quality parameter. These parameters basically are helping us to identify to assess the quality of the water. Like what is the meaning of this physical quality parameter? Physical quality parameters are those parameters which helps or which indicates physical quality of the water. And what is the meaning of this physical quality? Physical quality means that any parameter which we can sense, by any of our senses, like temperature of the water, you can sense that, like taste and color of the water, you can sense, odor from the water, you can sense, suspended solids turbidity, you can sense that. Any parameter which you can sense by any of your senses, that are under the category of physical quality parameters. So basically, chemical quality parameter, we say that those parameter which helps or which indicates chemical quality of the water. So friends, as you all know that if our water is not chemically pure, so also it will not be good to supply this water through these pipes, because suppose that there is a hardness in the water, there is a alkalinity in the water. When we supply the water through the pipes, there will be incrustation in the pipes will occur, right? So and also biological quality parameter, if we talk about this biological quality parameter, so basically these biological quality parameter are trying to help us in the identification of the microorganisms, in the presence of the microorganisms. So if there is a microorganism present in the water sample or not, so what are the methods of testing of the microorganisms? So basically we are going to test that, we are going to check that. So first of all, first point we have biological quality parameter of water refers to the presence, type and concentration and activity of the living organisms in the water. So with this biological quality parameters of water refers the presence, type and concentration and activity of the living organism in the water, particularly microorganisms. If we talk about the living organisms, so particularly we are talking about the microorganisms. So basically the presence of the microorganism, types of the microorganism, concentration of the microorganism and activity of the microorganism, that is running in this water sample, that is running in the water, we say biological activity. I will tell you what is that biological activity. So basically the presence, type, concentration of these microorganism, we are going to identify that. So this is the biological quality parameter which are helping us in identification of this. So by the help of biological water quality parameter, we are able to identify these microorganism concentration, microorganism types, microorganism presence, right? Now next point, these parameters are important because they directly related to the public health risk, as contaminated water may contain disease causing organisms that are termed as the pathogens. Why we are so concerned about this microorganism? Because if any microorganism is found in our water sample, and let us suppose if we consume that water and that microorganism is disease causing microorganism, and the disease causing microorganism, we say there is a pathogen. The disease causing microorganisms are termed as the pathogens. If pathogens are present in the water sample and if we are consuming that, so that means we suffer from a disease, that waterborne disease. So which type of waterborne disease, what is the name of that waterborne disease, and who is responsible for waterborne disease? So I will tell you later on that which pathogen is responsible for which type of disease, I will tell you later on. So basically these parameters are important because they directly related to the public health. So unlike physical and chemical parameters, biological parameters are dynamic in nature and are strongly influenced by environmental conditions. And are strongly influenced by the environmental conditions like temperature. If the temperature of the water is changed, so you will observe that biological activity will change. Concentration of the microorganism will change. Nutrient availability, dissolved oxygen, hydraulic characteristics of the water body. So these factors basically, these factors are, you can say like biological activity or biological parameters strongly influenced by these parameters. So how these parameters influencing this microorganism concentration, microorganism activity, how? So we will study later on, and step by step if you learn it, that you will observe this, that how the temperature going to affect nutrient availability, dissolved oxygen, I will tell you, right? So as the course go on, you will able to understand these factors, right? Okay. Next point we have that if we talk about the matter which are present in our water sample, so basically in our water sample there are the like suspended solids, or you can say that we have organic matters or inorganic matters. These are the present in our water sample. The water, the substances we are classified the substances as organic matter and inorganic matter. So in our water sample, basically two natures of the solids are present, two nature of the substances are present. One is the organic matter, another one is inorganic matter. Now further these organic matters, let me give you examples of inorganic matter, like in the water sample there is a sand, silt, clay particles are present. So friends, if sand, silt, clay particles are present, these are inorganic particles. So example of this inorganic particle is sand, silt, clay, these are the inorganic particles. Sand, silt, clay, these are the inorganic particles. Like oil particles are there, grease particle is there, right? And the organic matter example, if in water sample, let us suppose there is a presence of algae is there, plankton is there, algae is there, plankton is there, right? Algae is there, plankton is there. So we glucose, in the water sample glucose is there, C6H12O6, there is a chemical formula. Or you can say benzene is there, C6H6, benzene is there, methane is there. So in the water sample, if these substances are present, so we say these are the organic substances, these are the organic matters. And further, these organic matters are classified into two categories. One is the biodegradable and another one is the non-biodegradable organic matter. Basically what happens when these organic matters are present in the water sample, so there is going to be one biological activity in the water sample. And what is this biological activity consist? In this biological activity, if I show you by a diagram, this what is the biological activity. So I am drawing the diagram here. Now listen. So basically what happens in our system, there's a microorganisms are present. There's a microorganism. I am representing the microorganism by this. So these microorganisms are present in our water sample, and basically what happens, these microorganisms carry out some biological activity. And what type of biological activity? Like these microorganisms consume, or these microorganisms decompose the organic matter. These microorganisms are going to decompose the organic matter. What is the meaning of decomposition? And let us suppose we have an organic matter like CH4. It's very simplest organic matter is CH4. If you say that simplest organic matter, the simplest organic matter is CH4. All other organic matter are not simple, or you can say they are complex. But I am not saying 100%. More complexity is there. So most simplest organic matter, if you ask me, then answer is CH4. This is a very simplest organic matter, right? So CH4, basically what happens in this CH4, there is a presence of carbon, and microorganism required this carbon because carbon is the source of the energy for the microorganisms. So what happens if these organic matters are present in our water sample? So these microorganisms are going to decompose this organic matter. And what is the meaning of decomposition? The decomposition meaning the breaking or disintegration of the bond. So basically what there is a bond between the carbon and hydrogen. So this microorganism are going to break this bond. If microorganism break this bond, so that means what it tries, it is trying to free this carbon. So if this carbon atom is free from this CH4, so microorganism consume this carbon, and this carbon becomes the source of energy for the microorganism. And this activity, if in this activity we are saying that this bond is breaking by this microorganism, we say there is a decomposition of the bond, and this activity takes place in the presence of oxygen. So microorganism in the presence of oxygen decompose organic matter, biodegradable organic matter. And in this biodegradable organic matter, there is a presence of carbon, and after the decomposition of this bond, after the consumption of the carbon, the end product remains. This is known as the biomass. This is known as the biomass. So basically this is the biological activity. There is a biological activity. This is the biological activity. So we will learn about this biological activity in detail. As the course go on, we will discuss every concept related to this biological activity, right? Every concept we will discuss. Okay, let's move further, friends. So I was saying that organic matter is of two types. We have classified this organic matter into two. That one is the biodegradable, another one is the non-biodegradable. As simple as that. What is the meaning of biodegradable? Basically, there is a two word, bio and degradable. Bio means the microorganism and degradable means the decomposition. The organic matters which are going to decompose by the microorganisms. So such organic matter which can be decomposed by the action of the microorganisms. So that organic matter are termed the biodegradable organic matter. But we have also certain organic matter which cannot be decomposed by the action of microorganisms, so that are termed as the non-biodegradable organic matter. So as simple as that. If the microorganism is going to decompose this organic matter, it means it is the biodegradable. If microorganism is not able to decompose this organic matter, so we say it is the non-biodegradable organic matter. So biodegradable organic matter includes substances such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, commonly found in domestic sewage and agricultural runoff. So if we talk about this organic matter, this biodegradable organic matter, the biodegradable organic substances consist carbohydrates are there, proteins are there, fats are there, and these are commonly found in the domestic sewage and agricultural runoff. And these are readily decomposed by the microorganisms and are responsible for the high BOD. And what is the term BOD means? We will study it on later. But I write here that it is the high BOD. It is responsible for the high BOD. What stands for BOD? Biochemical oxygen demand. I will tell you in the later, right? So no discussion. I will not discuss this point. I am not going to discuss this point here because it is not related to our this parameter, right? We will discuss because there is a very vast term. It is a very vast term. COD, BOD, TOD. We will discuss later on. Next we have a non-biodegradable. As I told you, biodegradable. Another one we have a non-biodegradable, and you can say like refractory. So either say refractory or non-biodegradable, both are same. That organic matter such as synthetic organic compounds resist biological degradation and persist in the environment. Such organic matter you can say which cannot be decomposed by the microorganism, that resist biological degradation. That means they cannot be decomposed by the action of the microorganisms. So these are the synthetic organic compounds. So if question says that synthetic organic compound is the example of biodegradable or non-biodegradable, then you will say it is the non-biodegradable, because microorganism cannot decompose this synthetic organic compounds. So these are the non-biodegradable substances. Further, this decomposition of organic matter, and more specifically biodegradability, because organic matter is of two types, biodegradable, non-biodegradable. This biodegradable can be decomposed by the action of microorganism. Now this decomposition of biodegradable organic matter is taking place, and it can be decomposed in the presence of dissolved oxygen or in the absence of dissolved oxygen. So on the basis of that, we have classified further that decomposition. So one decomposition is named as the aerobic decomposition, another is named as the anaerobic decomposition. Aerobic decomposition means, what is the meaning of aerobic decomposition? That biological activity is going to be there, and this activity is taking place in the presence of oxygen, or you can say microorganism is decomposing the organic matter in the presence of dissolved oxygen. If biological activity is taking place in the presence of dissolved oxygen, we say it is the aerobic decomposition. If this activity takes place in absence of dissolved oxygen, we say it is the anaerobic decomposition. So we have a aerobic and anaerobic decompositions, or you can say conditions. In aerobic decomposition, microorganisms utilize dissolved oxygen to oxidize the organic matter, and when this organic matter decomposed in the presence of oxygen, so end product, which we say biomass, in the end product we observe that there is a carbonate, nitrate and sulfates are there. So if I show you by a diagram, so basically what happens, these microorganisms in the presence of dissolved oxygen carry out the decomposition of biodegradable organic matter. And what is present in this biodegradable organic matter? Carbon. So basically what happens, this microorganism utilize this carbon, because carbon is the source of energy. So microorganism consume this carbon, and what end product, this obtained end product is known as the biomass. And in this biomass, this type of decomposition takes place in the presence of DO, dissolved oxygen, that is present in the water, that is known as the aerobic decomposition. This type of decomposition named as the aerobic decomposition. And the end product in this activity, we have end product like carbonate, nitrate, sulfate. So these are the end product in this activity. These are the basically these products are stable product. So that's why we said that there is a stable end product. Stable end products such as carbonate, nitrate, sulfate, right? So these are the end products. So what you have to remember aerobic decomposition, that decomposition that takes place in the presence of dissolved oxygen. So the microorganism which carries out this aerobic decomposition are termed as the aerobic microorganism. Aerobic microorganisms are those microorganisms which carry out aerobic decomposition, and they utilize dissolved oxygen. Next point. This process is beneficial but lead to the depletion of DO in the water bodies. If lot of aerobic decomposition is going to be happen in the water body, so what happens, basically there is a less concentration of DO will be there. And if DO falls in the water body beyond a certain value, then the aquatic life survival becomes difficult. If I give you an example, that for the fishes, the requirement of the DO is greater than the 4 mg per liter. If consumption of DO is there, and this consumption of DO, and due to that consumption, concentration of DO is now present is less than 4 mg per liter, then the aquatic life survival becomes difficult. So that's why this DO is very important point, right? Second decomposition, we have a anaerobic. Suppose that we want that aerobic decomposition is there in our treatment process, but there is no oxygen, so we have to artificially supply that oxygen. Anaerobic decomposition, second decomposition anaerobic, it means that this decomposition activity is taking place in the absence of dissolved oxygen. But it doesn't mean that microorganisms don't require any DO. It means here also in this activity also oxygen is being utilized, but that oxygen is not the DO. That oxygen is named as the molecular bonded oxygen. So here in this anaerobic decomposition occurs in the absence of oxygen, and they utilize molecular bonded oxygen. And when this activity takes place, so like this, so microorganism in the presence of molecular bonded oxygen decompose the biodegradable organic matter. And if they decompose biodegradable organic matter, so the end product we have named as the acid, alcohol and gases. So in the end product we have acid, alcohol and gases. In this end product we have acid, alcohol and gases, and in these gases we have methane gas, CO2 gas, ammonia gas, H2S gas. So there is a organic substances there, and if you observe that from this organic substance, after the time or with respect to time, after some certain time there is a evolution of gases is there from that organic substance. That means anaerobic decomposition is going there. Anaerobic decomposition is going to take place there. So if we talk about anaerobic decomposition it means the decomposition, the biological activity is taking place in the absence of DO. But it doesn't mean they don't require DO. They also require DO, but that oxygen which they require, they utilize oxygen in the form of molecular bonded oxygen. What does it mean? Molecular bonded oxygen, like in the water sample we have a carbonate, just example. So if we write this carbonate, so we have a carbonate. So first microorganism what does? So it decomposes this bond and it free the oxygen and it utilize this oxygen. Once it utilize this oxygen, that is the molecular bonded oxygen. When this molecular bonded oxygen is being utilized, after the utilization, now organic matter or the microorganism starts decomposing the organic matter. So in this process they require energy and time. In this process they require energy and time. So that's why we say that rate of anaerobic decomposition is lesser and the rate of aerobic decomposition is higher. In the given time, aerobic decomposition rate is higher, anaerobic decomposition rate is lesser. So what is the difference between the rate? That is 3 times. Rate of aerobic decomposition, this is the from observations. So rate of aerobic decomposition rate of aerobic decomposition is 3 times of rate of anaerobic decomposition. Is 3 times of rate of anaerobic decomposition. Rate of aerobic decomposition is 3 times of rate of anaerobic decomposition. Right? So this is from the observations, because anaerobic microorganism utilize molecular bonded oxygen, and in this process, after that they decompose the organic matter. In this process they require energy and time. So a lot of time being consumed. So that's why we are saying in the given time aerobic decomposition rate is higher and anaerobic decomposition rate is lower. Now further, some microorganisms also there which can act in the presence as well as in the absence of oxygen there, and that microorganisms are termed as the facultative microorganisms. Aerobic microorganism acts in the presence of oxygen DO, and anaerobic microorganisms acts in the absence of DO, or they utilize the molecular bonded oxygen. But the facultative microorganisms are those microorganisms which can act in the presence as well as in the absence of the oxygens. So facultative conditions may also exist where the microorganism can switch between aerobic and anaerobic metabolism depending on the oxygen availability, right? Now microorganisms that are present in the water sample that can be further classified on the various bases, like included their morphology. Morphology means the shape of the bacteria, shape of the microorganism, metabolic characteristics and the oxygen requirements. On the basis of these oxygen requirements, we have classified that aerobic or anaerobic microorganisms. So morphology, on the basis of morphology, we have classified the microorganism. Like on the basis of the shape, or you can say morphology, bacteria are the classified as, name of the microorganism is bacteria, and these bacteria are classified as cocci bacteria, bacilli bacteria, spirella bacteria or vibrio bacteria. Like one main point is this: cocci bacteria is of spherical shape, bacilli bacteria is of rod shape, spirilla is the spiral shape, and a vibrio comma shaped microorganisms. So the questions asked from this topic, right? So question is saying that bacillus bacteria or bacillus microorganism are of which shape? Is it spherical, comma shaped, spiral or rod shape? So bacillus bacteria are the rod shaped bacteria. Bacillus microorganism are the rod shaped microorganism. Right? With examples, if we talk about examples like Streptococcus, E. coli, this is E. coli, very important, very famous for our exam. E. coli, very very famous, I will tell you. E. coli, Spirillum, Vibrio cholera respectively. These are the examples, right? If you look at the diagram like this is the cocci shape, like spherical shape. And the arrangement of these particles and the naming according to their arrangement is there, like diplococci. If the two spherical particles are there, then we say diplococci. two spherical microorganisms are there, two spherical shaped microorganisms, then we say diplococci, right? If group of microorganisms are there and they are arranged in the irregular patterns, not irregular patterns, then we say it's a staphylococci, right? If if they are they arranged in a chain, then we say it's a streptococci, right? So basically depending these are the names. Like second we have a, right, vibrio, this is the comma shape, or you can say curved, so vibrio is the curved type microorganism. Spirillum, there is this one, spirillum, like this, spirilla. So this is the spirillosheet, this is the in the form of chain, we say it the spirillosheet. Filamentous microorganism like this, like a wavy type, this is also like a wave type, right? So this is the wave type, or you can say helical form, you can also say the helical form, right? Bacillus shape, we have a rod shape, this is the rod shape, and several bacillus shaped microorganisms if combined in the form of chain, that it is termed the streptobacilli, that streptococci in the form of chain, streptobacilli in the form of chain, right? So we have this different type of microorganisms, right? Cocci, if we talk about this cocci, this coccus, cocci are the spherical or rounded shaped bacteria. Cocci can be single or multiple in a group of 2, 4, 8, as I told you above, right? So they can be found in the group also, and depending on that arrangements we have classified, we have named that. Cocci are the spherical bacteria that can exist as single cell or in the clusters. They can exist in the single cell or in clusters. These can be further classified into the different arrangements based on how they divide, such as diplococci, streptococci, and this one, staphylococci. Further, their round shape aids in the withstanding environment pressure and is often associated with various diseases. If we talk about the waterborne disease due to this cocci bacteria, so the answer is that including pneumonia, strep throat. So if you suffer from pneumonia, if you suffer from strep throat, it means the bacteria which is responsible for it, this is the spherical shaped bacteria, cocci. Next we have a bacilli, rod shaped bacteria. Rod shaped bacteria, and one of the most commonly observed forms, they can also display different arrangements such as single bacilli or chain of bacilli, and correspondingly we named that. And the disease due to this bacillus bacteria are the anthrax and tuberculosis. So it may be asked in the exam that tuberculosis is waterborne, is disease that is caused by which shape of the bacteria, then tuberculosis is due to the bacillus or rod shaped bacteria. These are the rod shaped bacteria, they also occur singly or multiple cell attached after the cell divisions, right? Next we have a spirilla, characterized by their spiral or corkscrew shape, provided unique motility advantages. The disease, if we talk about disease such as the syphilis caused by the bacterium Treponema pallidum. Now next we have a classification based on the energy source. This is the important classifications. Friends, this is the important classification. We have classified microorganism on the basis of energy source. That we say that microorganism utilize biodegradable organic matter, decompose the biodegradable organic matter, and after the decomposition, the end products, the biomass is formed. Right? On the basis of that decomposition, we have classified that aerobic decomposition or anaerobic decomposition. Now, we are classifying the microorganisms on the basis of their energy source. Right? So, microorganisms are divided into autotrophs and heterotrophs. If we talk about autotrophs basically self-feeders. They make their own food. They don't depend on others. Unlike them, heterotrophs, they are not self-feeders. They depends on others, or you can say they depends on autotrophs for their survival. They depends on others. Autotrophs make their own food. It is able to make their own food. Autotrophs, we say these are the autotrophs. Like example algae. Cyanobacteria, blue-green algae which we say. So algae, basically this algae, if we talk about this algae, so what happens? It photosynthesize. It does photosynthesis, right? So by doing this, it consists chlorophyll in this, So when the photosynthesis occurs there, so they make their own food. They absorb this CO2 and release the oxygen. So definition: organisms that produce their own organic food from the inorganic substances. Underline this point, that is important. Inorganic substances. So basically autotrophs are those microorganisms that produce their own food. First point, from the inorganic substances. That means they utilize these inorganic substances and after that they produce their own food. The inorganic substances, like example CO2 and water. So they use this CO2 and water, and after the using, and when they utilize this further, they make their own food using the light. So if light is used in the production of food, we say photosynthesis. If chemical energy is used, then we say it is the chemosynthesis, right? They are the producer in the ecosystem. In the ecosystem, basically, these autotrophs are termed as the producers. And where the carbon source, inorganic carbon. We told that यहाँ पर we are saying that autotrophs, they produce their own food from the inorganic substances. Right? So if we talk about energy source, so energy source is the light. If this energy source is light, we say these are the photoautotrophs. If energy source is inorganic chemicals, then we say it is the chemoautotrophs. So basically there are two types of autotrophs: photoautotrophs, chemoautotrophs, right? Types: photoautotrophs use light energy, as I told you, plants, algae, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae which we say. Chemoautotrophs use energy from oxidizing inorganic compounds, example hydrogen sulfide ammonia, example deep sea vent bacteria nitrifying the bacteria. Example, we have green plants, phytoplankton, iron oxidizing bacteria. Next we have a heterotrophs. Heterotrophs also other feeders. We say it is the other feeders. That means the organisms, the microorganisms which cannot produce their own food. Heterotrophs, they cannot produce their own food. They cannot produce because they don't consist that chlorophyll. On the other hand, autotrophs consist that chlorophyll, but heterotrophs, they don't consist chlorophyll. They cannot make their own food. They cannot produce their own food. So they depends others. Organisms that cannot produce their own food, they obtain energy and carbon by consuming organic compound. Remember, autotrophs obtaining energy from this inorganic carbon, but heterotrophs obtained energy and carbon by consuming the organic compounds. And from other organisms, plants, animals, decomposing material. They are consumers or decomposers. In this environment, these heterotrophs are consumers or decomposers. So why we say consumers? Consumers means because they don't make their own food, they depends on others. Right? So that's why we are saying consumers. Decomposers means basically these heterotrophs also going to decompose this organic matter. Carbon source is organic carbon from other organisms. Energy source, chemical energy stored in the organic molecules like glucose. Right? So this is the energy source. Type: photoheterotrophs or chemoheterotrophs. If use light for energy, if they use light for energy but still need organic carbon, so we say photoheterotroph. Right? Example, some purple non-sulfur bacteria. So they basically use the light, but we cannot say that they use 100% light. Also they require organic carbon. Right? Chemoheterotroph get both energy and carbon from the organic compounds. Just example, animal, fungus, most bacteria. Example like humans, dog, mushroom, E. coli. Next also we have a classification, but this phototrophs basically it related to both the terms, autotroph and heterotroph, like this. Phototrophs, these are the light feeders, energy classifications. What is the meaning here? Definition, if we talk about organisms that capture photons as their primary energy source. This term focuses on energy, not the carbon sources. Energy content is sunlight, energy source is sunlight, and the carbon source can be either CO2 or organic carbon. CO2 is the inorganic carbon, right? Remember this, CO2 is the inorganic carbon. So energy source can be inorganic carbon, photoautotrophs, or organic carbon, photoheterotrophs. Why we say photo? Because sunlight is there, right? So types: photoautotrophs, photoheterotrophs. Photoautotrophs use light and CO2 and use light and organic carbon, then we say it is the photoheterotrophs. Sunflower photoautotrophs example is this photoautotroph sunflower. Purple non-sulfur bacteria photoheterotrophs. Purple non-sulfur is the photoheterotrophs. So very simple point. Auto means self, they make their own food. Hetero means other, it's other. Photo means light, use sunlight for energy. That's very simple is this. All phototrophs are not always autotrophs. One note point is there. Most autotrophs are phototrophs but not all. And most heterotrophs are chemotrophs but not all. That is very important point, right? And also we have, and also I have a table. I have table that differentiating autotrophs, heterotrophs, phototrophs, right? Okay. Next, further classification, we have classified the microorganism on the basis of temperature tolerance. Right? Temperature tolerance, we have a psychrophilic microorganism, mesophilic microorganism, thermophilic microorganism, hyperthermophilic microorganism. So on the basis of temperature tolerance, if microorganism is not able to tolerate the temperature above the 15 degrees Celsius, they can tolerate in between 0 to 15, then we say these are the psychrophilic microorganisms. That example is Psychrobacter. Remember this example, Psychrobacter, right? Further, mesophilic, the temperature is in 20 to 45 degree. E. coli is the example. Thermophilic 45 to 80, Thermus aquaticus, and hyperthermophilic greater than 80 degree, then Pyrolobus. So these are the examples. You have to remember the name of these microorganisms like psychrophilic, mesophilic, thermophilic, hyperthermophilic. Right. Now from a public health perspective, also we have classified the microorganism on the basis of disease causing, you can say most significant biological concern is the presence of pathogens. So now we are talking about the pathogens. Like we have a pathogen name, like one is the bacteria. Bacteria, I'm not saying that all the bacteria are harmful for us. We are talking here about the microorganisms which are harmful for us only, and that microorganisms named as the pathogens. So that means we are in this topic we are only studying the harmful microorganisms, only that. So pathogens are the harmful disease causing microorganism, and the first named is the bacteria, and the bacteria are the prokaryotic pathogens. The prokaryotic pathogens. Now public health significance, high cause of many waterborne, it is responsible for the waterborne disease. Transmission, if we talk about the transmission, how this bacteria transmit. So fecal oral contaminated water food, person to person. Examples and disease, that very important. Examples are most important of every topic. So Vibrio cholera, Salmonella typhi, E. coli, Shigella. So Vibrio cholera is responsible for this waterborne disease. That is the which one? Cholera. Cholera, right? So severe watery diarrhea, dehydration, severe water diarrhea, cholera बोलते हैं उसको. Salmonella typhi is responsible for the typhoid fever. Question say the typhoid fever is responsible. Typhoid fever is caused by which type of pathogen? That answer is bacteria. But in this bacteria, the typhoid fever responsible. Your typhoid fever is caused by the which type of bacteria named as the Salmonella typhi. Question asked about this. E. coli, that is this kidney failure, responsible for kidney failures, and this, remember this point, Shigella. This is responsible for the shigellosis, जिसको बोलते हैं dysentery, एक type की blood diarrhea dysentery, that is named as the blood. It is a type of one of the type of blood diarrhea dysentery type. So in many questions ask that dysentery is only due to the protozoa. That is not 100% correct. This dysentery can also due to the bacteria. Bacteria name is Shigella. Second pathogen we have a viruses. Viruses is the non-cellular pathogens. We say virus is the non-cellular pathogens, right? Virus. Transmission fecal oral, aerosols, direct contact. Example, norovirus, hepatitis A virus, rotavirus, poliovirus. Norovirus, acute gastroenteritis. This is responsible for acute gastroenteritis, right? Leading cause of foodborne illness in the US. Hepatitis A virus, liver inflammation and jaundice, responsible for this. rotavirus, severe infant diarrhea, but vaccine is available. Poliovirus, poliomyelitis, paralysis, but nowadays it is eradicated. Nowadays it is eradicated, right? So you have to remember this all the viruses name and related to this waterborne disease, or you can say disease. Next we have a protozoa, again important point, exam point of view say. Protozoa are the single cell eukaryotic parasite, right? So if we talk about the transmission, so these are the, again same, fecal, oral, sometimes sexual or vector borne. These are protozoa. The example, that very important examples, Giardia lamblia. Giardia lamblia, right? So this is the giardiasis, right? It is also named as the beaver fever, prolonged diarrhea. Cryptosporidium, this cryptosporidiosis, severe in the immunocompromised. And one more important point, this protozoa is the chlorine resistant. Question says that if we add chlorine in a water for disinfection, which microorganism is not affected by addition of this chlorine? So you can say this protozoa, and the name of protozoa is Cryptosporidium. Entomoeba histolytica, that is responsible for amoebic dysentery, liver abscess. So if you ask amoebic dysentery, it is due to this Entomoeba histolytica, right? Next we have a helminthes. Helminths, these are the parasitic worms. These are the multicellular. So transmission same. And if we talk about example and diseases, so we first we have Ascaris lumbricoides, right? Stenia solium, hookworms, schistosomiasis, hookworms, anemia, protein deficiency. So these are the diseases. Okay, friends. So till now, I have covered this all the topics, all the details, but rest topics also we have. But I think now that time is not there, so मुझे सब कवर करवाना था आपको, ये सब मुझे बताना था. So but time is not there. So I will cover these topics in rest of the lectures, in rest of the classes. I will cover these topics, right? But my friends, again remember, these topics are very simple topics, right? These topics are very simple. So once you read it, once you watch this video, and after that you read this PDF, so I assure you that all the terms will be in your mind, right? After that, just revision practice you have to do. That's it. And if, from where you find this PDF, that is an important point. So I asked you earlier that Google form is there in the description box. If you fill that Google forms, then from there you will add in our WhatsApp group, and we circulate this PDF in our WhatsApp group. So from there you can download that PDF. Okay, friends. And any topic, any query related to this video, or related to the content, or related to the course or module which we have provided, which we have launched, right? Because classes have started, friends. So if you have any query, then you can contact with us. You can contact with us directly. You can call, or via WhatsApp you can contact us. Okay, friends. So